Hello, I'm Edward Rakers, I'm from Kayak and you are watching Live Prog.
Hello, welcome to Live Prog. My name is Marcel Haster. Over the years, several bands and musicians have become very close to me, very special to me. And with some of them I have a bit of a personal connection. And of course I'm always very excited and very happy if I can bring one of their releases in a review. Now, you guessed it, I have such a musician and such a release to bring to you. And I'm very honored because I think it's a very special release and I'm very happy to bring it to you. The musician is Arjen Lucassen. Well, you might have guessed it, from Ayreon of course, and from a couple of others. And the project that I'm focusing on right now is called Ambeon. And the album, I have it right here, this one is called Fate of a Dreamer, and as you can see it is the expanded version. I mentioned a personal connection. Let me explain. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I set my first steps on the internet and on web design, and I wanted to make a sort of global prog rock website. So I asked a couple of bands that I knew, can I use your information? I also contacted Ayreon, of course, because I had a couple of albums and I really enjoyed the music. And one thing led to another, and before I knew it, I was the new webmaster for Ayreon.com. Now, of course, you can imagine that's a huge privilege, you know, working very close together with Arjen Lucassen. And I gotta say, I did it for about 3 years, and it was a fantastic time. Arjen Lucassen is, of course, a genius when it comes to music. I mean, he is, every album is a masterpiece, and he's an amazingly nice guy. So, a great time to work with. But we're not talking about what I did for Arjen Lucassen, we're talking about the music. This one, Ambeon, Fate of a Dreamer. Ambeon was the very first side project that Arjen did, because he'd done a couple of Ayreon albums, and something happened that started this. And I hope you don't mind, Arjen, little personal memories to share. But I can remember that Arjen told me that he had a new recording system, and he wanted to, play around with it and see, learn it on the go. So he loaded up all his Ayreon tracks and started to, work around with them. And for some reason, it started to develop into songs, but to completely different sound from Ayreon, a more ambient sound. Well, hence the name Ambeon. Ambient, Ayreon, put them together, you get Ambeon. Now. And then we move on to the part why this album is so incredibly special. Because while he was working on the songs, he wanted to have a bit of vocals in it, to not just make an instrumental album. And he was looking for a voice, and he found one in a person called Astrid van Veen.
By the riverside, watching the sunrise and the colors it brings. Here I can sing, 'cause there is no one around. Some birds fly above me, flying so free.
What is so special about her is by the time they recorded this album, you have the original version right here and the single right there. But when they recorded this album in 2001, she was 14 years old. And if you listen to her singing on this album, you gotta be blown away, because she's such an incredibly good singer. So powerful, such a clear voice, It's really amazing. So, well, that's a little bit of the background how Ambient got together. Now, it's a one-off project, you know, they just made the one album and after that it stopped. Now, it's been out of print for a long time and, well, I have it in my hands, we have one back. And not just any one. This is absolutely a value for money back. I'll show you, bring it a little closer. You have the cover and I gotta say, I'll bring in the original cover. This is the original cover. You know, I gotta be honest, I like this one better. You know, it has something, you know, something unusual to it. Oh, all right. Now we open it up because, as you can see, it's a big one. We open it up. Oh, hold it up a little higher, and we have two shiny discs, and we have a booklet with some additional liner notes from Arjen Lucassen. Oh, almost dropped it again. Which is also nice because he tells a little bit more about what happened. Well, you have here, you know, the artwork and the lyrics. And now, I did mention that 14-year-old girl that has this amazing voice. Well, she doesn't not just have an amazing voice, she also has an amazing talent for writing songs, because Arjen also asked her to write some lyrics for the album, and that she did. And I gotta say, when you read the lyrics and listen to it, pretty dark stuff, you know. One of my favorite tracks, Sweet Little Brother. You know, when it comes down that she killed her brother with a big knife. So, you know, it's pretty dark stuff, but when you listen to it, it sounds completely different from Arjen. Yet, when you listen close to the songs, you hear various familiar Arjen sounds in it. So it's a nice thing, you know, take it on a quest to find out which Arjen song was the foundation for which Ambient song. Very nice. But there's more, of course. The single is, of course, always limited and always, you know, one-and-a-halves, but, well, just as the album, long out of print. No problem. The tracks on the single are on the disc, as you can see right here, the bonus tracks. Now, I gotta say, only Merry Go Round is really interesting because the other two tracks are more other versions from what's already on it. Moving on to the second disc, and there lies the treasure. Arjen never performed with Ambient, but I recall, again, I'm going back in my memory, I remember that, and I heard those tracks back then, that he did some acoustic sessions with Astrid. And not just with Astrid, he had two other musicians involved, Eva Albring on flute and Davy Kersten on cello. And they played some 16 songs and recorded them. And they didn't record them to be released on an album, but they recorded them mainly for themselves because Arjen was asked to perform with Ambient in Italy. It never happened, but still they rehearsed and they recorded the songs. And they just, well, you know, the vocals were done in one afternoon, one take often by Astrid. Just read the liner notes. And it's a mixture of Ambient songs and Arjen songs.
There's no way out, slaves for eternity, down in the other world, the jaws of Orcus. I call on Jupiter, ruler of gods, show us the way from damnation to salvation. The fields of Yarrow are waiting for us all. Rejoice, the judges have ruled. We have been chosen to enter the great hall. All vices and all sorrows.
I gotta say, this second disc not only shows again what an amazing singer Astrid van Veen is, but it also shows what an amazing songwriter Arjen Lucassen is, because if you strip down all the bombast that you find on an Ayreon song, and that's a lot, you know, just listen to the originals, but if you strip them down to the bare essence, acoustic guitar, add some flute, add a cello, add vocals, and they still stand, they still sound, well, pardon my language, fucking amazing, you know? So that shows what an amazing guy this is. And again, I gotta say, you know, I'm really happy that I had the privilege of working very close with him for a couple of years, you know, being very close to this project, and I'm very happy that this album is back, available again to the fans, but especially to those who never had the chance to hear this album, because this is really something you should have. This is really something special. If you like Ayreon, you will love this one. If you, well, it doesn't matter whether you like Ayreon or not, you know, must have. I'm sorry, I can't say anything else about it, you know. Live Prog must have. I'm sorry for your wallet, I apologize, but if you can spare the money, buy it.